Manchester United's hierarchy are becoming very twitchy about the deadline day coming up. Can Manchester United get any business done? The unthinkable would be for Manchester United now, seen within the club, to not be making the Champions League. Oh, standards have changed over the space of a season, haven't they? We'll talk about all the stories that Nate Salt has been reporting tonight in the show. Get involved in the comments section, everybody, because we're talking about Manchester United going late into this transfer window to bring in another midfielder. Has that been prompted by the injury news and update that we brought you earlier on today with Patrick Dorgu being out for several weeks? We'll update you on that and a few more opinions and updates from within Manchester United and journalists around the club on Patrick Dorgu as well. We have got updates on new transfer targets for Manchester United, a couple of new names on the list for the summer as well, and an update from the 58 group as well regarding the protest this weekend, everybody. So stay tuned if you want all that information. Get involved and obviously get into the chat as well with the community and get your conversations rocking and rolling. Let's get into the show and let's start talking Manchester United. Why are the hierarchy at the football club nervous? Well, they're now looking at Manchester United in the position that they're in, and they don't want to throw this chance away, is basically what Nate Salt is saying, for me anyway, in this. But I'll read it out and I'll read the latest from him in his piece this afternoon and what he has said. And it's got quite a few people talking online. This is what, one extract from the actual article says. Sources at Manchester United are increasingly twitchy about the prospect of not making a move for a midfielder this January transfer window. And it's going to cost them Champions League football. So they're a bit nervous, a bit twitchy, and it's beginning to get increasingly twitchy about the thought of not bringing somebody in and that costing Manchester United a Champions League place this season. He goes on to say a scenario that nobody behind the scenes is willing to contemplate right now, as in it is not even being thought about. Manchester United have to be in the Champions League. And this is how the majority of the people, well, I'm guessing the whole club, otherwise you'd be out the door, wouldn't you, with Ineos? But this is where everyone's thinking now. United, all of a sudden, after 2 games of Michael Carrick, are targeting Champions League football. Well, they did say this is why they got rid of Ruben Amorim, to give themselves the best chance of finishing strongly this season. So maybe this has come off for them. Look, I feel like we're in a position right now where, obviously, slim pickings, isn't it? He goes on to say, anyway, in this piece, slim pickings, I mean, in terms of options for United to bring a player in. While all the noises at Old Trafford are that things could be very quiet, nobody wants to go as far as ruling anything out. And one source put it, a stopgap midfielder on loan until the summer could be something that moves very, very late. And the very, very's in capitals. Ooh. Just to add a little bit of intrigue to what was said there. So very, very late. Obviously, right now, 27th of January. We're coming into the last 4 days tomorrow of the window. Last 5 days, sorry, of the transfer window. It shuts on Monday. So Monday transfer window, bang, gone, finished. And Manchester United could be making something happen over the weekend or going into that final day. Obviously, Michael Carrick will be quizzed on Friday about the Fulham game coming up this weekend. But on top of that as well, I'm guessing, obviously, with there only being a few days left, and also I'm guessing probably in the post-match press conference after Fulham, he'll be asked again about potential transfers and what might be happening. He is fully involved. Going back to our story from this morning about Baleba, Wharton and Anderson and what's happening there, Michael Carrick is involved in Manchester United deciding on their future transfers as well, like he has said. The main thing is what's happening now, though, and that's been the focus in this piece in the Daily Mail, and Manchester United getting a little bit anxious, it would seem, thinking that they could really solidify that place, that 4th place that they're in right now. This is gold for Manchester United. We keep on talking about it in every single show. This is a must now for Manchester United. They need to make Champions League. And the club are looking at this and saying that they actually know that this is massive for them. That's how I read this anyway from Nate Salt. I actually look at this and say, well, 100% yes, that's what all the fans want. But the club have never really given it away. They've always said, look, European football, secretly a top 6 finish is good enough. We're calculating our finances for 4 years in the Europa League. Remember all of that crap that came out from Omar Varada not too long ago? All of that, that's what Man United are balancing their books off. And that's what they've always said. This is the first real sign. Like when Ruben Amorim was sacked, and obviously you've got a win then of like, right, okay, something bad is going on here, but and he did come out and out them, so they got rid of him for that reason pretty much. But when you look at how this has gone down now and all the noise is coming out since, there has been a real look at this is a opportunity. United are good enough. There isn't anything else to play for but this top 4 finish. They have to make this happen. And it does look like everybody is singing from the same hymn sheet at the moment within Manchester United, and that's we are getting Champions League football. So who can Manchester United get in January to strengthen that cause and give Michael Carrick that extra bit of backing? Well, Nate Salt goes on to go into a bit more detail regarding potential targets and who actually has been spoken about in this January transfer window within the club. Manchester United's head of negotiations, Matt Hargreaves, has had numerous meetings throughout January on the feasibility of short-term midfield options. João Gomez, Tyler Adams, Wilfred Ndidi and Ruben Neves have all come up in conversations. Felix Meka as well is another name that was floated by well-connected German sources. So yeah, we know about all of them players. And obviously Adams has been injured, I think, for Bournemouth for a while now, so I don't think that would ever happen. Obviously Ndidi and Neves we know all about. Ndidi is still on the table. And Manchester United have made moves, according to Ben Jacobs, in approaches to Ndidi for a potential return, with Besiktas open to sending him back to the Premier League. And João Gomez being the prime target there. I actually feel like out of all of them 5 names, you could potentially see João Gomez there in the summer. Maybe Mekov could come in. I'm sure maybe Tyler Adams might be another name there for United. But out of all of them, I feel like João Gomez is the one that would be the longer-term option. United's stance within this transfer window has changed several times through the wording of how they're going to approach it through different sources, different media outlets. Remember, it was only realistic targets that are going to be the future of this football club that was going to go out and get, or will be there for an opportunity if it comes around. If the right players there, United will buy them. And some players might have to leave if another player is going to come in. And then we're at the stage now where it's like we might do a late loan deal just to give Michael Carrick a bit more backing. There was a big piece done on Sky Sports today, which included the intensity of Manchester United's game since Carrick has arrived and the amount of sprints that players are going through compared to what it was before. Patrick Dorgu leads the way on that. And of course, if you are going to be full throttle like this, 60 sprints he has made under Michael Carrick so far. And that's just 2 games. And then bang, hamstring injury. So you see the intensity in which Carrick wants to play. Maybe he needs that backup. Maybe he needs something there within his squad to fall back on in case you get scenarios like today. Now, Nate Salt has also said it's unclear just yet, but there might be a scenario where Manchester United do dip into the transfer window again, potentially more or less for a loan, with the injury to Patrick Dorgu, which was announced today. That might prompt Manchester United in. Just to keep you updated on Patrick Dorgu, obviously we broke the news earlier on this lunchtime. Sad that with him being in such good form, he's now fallen away and he's going to miss a few weeks. The reports coming out, he's had scans on scans to make sure. It was thought to be a small issue, but then turned into a bigger issue. And now obviously that's the timescale we've got. The timescale which was being reported is the top end of worst case scenario, 10 weeks. So we're looking at the moment, and Nate Salt has also said that maybe the home visit of Leeds in April might be the latest we get Patrick Dorgu back. If you're going off the maximum of how long he's out for from this initial report, the 10 weeks that we reported earlier on. So that's the situation with Dorgu. So that is a good 3 months near enough, 2 and a bit months of football that Manchester United can ill afford to have somebody missing who has been a key part of Michael Carrick's side. Patrick Dorgu gives him the defensive option and the attacking option at the moment. That's something that Cunha does not give. And that's a different type of player. So will we be tempted to go into the market and bring someone of the similar sort of style? I don't think there's anyone out there, is the problem that I've got with that. So I'm going to play that down as if Dorgu being injured isn't going to be necessarily the trigger for United to go out and buy another player all of a sudden. It will be within the plan that United have had all along. The opportunity around that comes around for a midfielder coming in and being available, and it is only going to be a loan deal this late into the transfer window as well. Interesting how Douglas Luiz is going back to Aston Villa. Tammy Abraham's going to Aston Villa. Villa are bringing players in. I know they've got injuries to their midfield. I think Kamara is injured. McGinn is injured. I think they've got Tillemans, who's also out. So they're bringing in reinforcements to solidify their charge for the title, because they're well and truly in that title chase. But again, this is what injuries do. These are the scenarios as to why you need to be ready. And I think the report of the nervousness, the anxiousness, twitchiness, whatever you want to call it, within Manchester United's powers that be right now is that Dorgu's gone down. If we have a scenario like what Villa have got and 3 midfielders go down injured, then United are in big trouble. Carrick needs a certain calibre and athleticism in his team to play the way he wants. And that's been proved by the lack of change in his lineups and substitutions. Kobe Mainoo and Casemiro running themselves into the ground and seeing no Manuel Ugarte on that pitch tells you a lot about what Michael Carrick wants from his team. Was Patrick Dorgu going to be brought off in that game if he didn't get that injury? We just don't know. I think he had obviously brought him off and brought... Well, he hasn't brought him off. He brought Cunha on for Mbeumo in the first game. Obviously, he's changed it up again now. He's obviously done the same substitution, but Sesko comes on as well in the midst of Mbeumo and Dorgu coming off against Arsenal. So he's not for changing too much, and he wants a certain type of player. Is that player available in January? And that, I think, is the difficulty for what Manchester United are trying to find Michael Carrick. And this is why they're nervous. Can they back a man that has got more out of this team in 2 weeks than Ruben Amorim ever did in 14 months? Have they got the power to do it? Are they willing to do it? Are they willing to actually go that extra yard to get another body through the door for Michael Carrick? That is the big question that we're all asking questions about right now. But tell me about them names if you think they're any good. Who would you go for in the last few days of the window? Are you worried about Patrick Dorgu's injury? Or are you looking at Matthias Cunha coming straight in? Albeit a different type of player, plays a lot differently. Does he change things up? Does Mbeumo then drop back in and works a bit harder where Dorgu was and Sesko comes back in? Or does Cunha come straight back in and Sesko stays on the bench? Which way would you work it? Anyone for Mason Mount? He hasn't really got a look in on the Carrick so far, has he? It goes to show not every player fits every single manager. And I think Michael Carrick right now is being very, very clear in what he wants his team to look like and perform like. And there's certain players that might not be up to it. Hopefully we don't get any more injuries. Pray to God, touch wood, do everything you possibly can, I think is how we go on from here. But that's a story from inside Manchester United to kickstart our show this evening. Let's get some comments in on this, everybody. Give me your thoughts. Who would you go in for? What should we do in this moment? Patrick Dorgu is out. Do we stick to the original plan of trying to find the midfielders? Or do we need to look further up the pitch in terms of a replacement for Dorgu now? Who'd have thought we'd have been saying we need a replacement up front for Dorgu? If you'd have told me that at the start of the year, I'd have gone, wait a minute, we need a replacement up front for Patrick Dorgu? Don't you mean a fullback or a wing-back, something like that? Michael Carrick's transformation is clear to see in that sentence alone. We have a poll running right now as well, everybody. Let me know what you're thinking. Give me your thoughts. United, should United bring in a player in the next few days? So far, we are rocking with the yeses. Some people are being sensible, though, because they're saying we go with what we've got. We can't bring anyone in who is going to compete against these players. Is there anyone better than what we've got? That's how a lot of people look at transfer windows. So, yes, let's just see. Anyway, into the comments we go. Am I alone on not being asked about Palmer? I don't think you are. I don't think you are. Man United don't necessarily need Cole Palmer. Well, we've got Bruno Fernandes. There's no point in really looking at spending that amount of money when you really need to, well, you need to front up the midfield. That's where you need to strengthen. So, yeah, I'm with you on that one, mate. No, I don't think you're the only one real on that. Devo says, we definitely need cover, either a left-sided player or midfielder in case we get an injury in midfield. I mean, Mason Mount just doesn't have the athleticism of a Patrick Dorgu. I think we might actually realise how much of a miss Patrick Dorgu is going forward. Like I was talking before when this news broke, we was on the show talking about Dorgu's injury. And I was talking it and playing it down, saying we've got cover. And then the more and more I thought about it throughout the day, I'm thinking, it does bring something different to that front line, though, that we haven't got. That pace, power, and athleticism. Cunha's great, and Bumo's fantastic, and Ahmad is brilliant as well. Tesco does his thing. Mount's got his qualities. You got Xerxes there, Shea Lacey as well. None of them do what Dorgu does, though, which gives him that extra bit of cover, getting up and down the pitch and getting back and doing defensive duties as well. I know other people do it. Ahmad would do it on the other side. But Dorgu's a natural wing-back type of player who can get up and down. And noticeably, he has done more sprints under Michael Carrick than any other player in Man United's squad. So that, I think, is key to how Michael Carrick wants to set up. And we might miss Patrick Dorgu more than we realise. Pab says, we really needed to be injury-free, but I guess that was unrealistic. It is with United, Babs, isn't it? Even with less games to play, we're still going to pick up our usual United injuries. It's just the way it works, isn't it? Every single time, Babs, unfortunately for us. Let's see what else we've got in the chat. Palmer's only a sick note because he wants to leave Chelsea. Greg says, really, I'm not, to be honest. He's good, but it's a bit of a massive left turn in terms of Palmer, I think they're talking about there. Maybe still Ahmad on the left, just to see. Back the man and make it easier to get to top 5, says Irish. I mean, it's obvious to say that, isn't it? It's who we actually get that's going to back him. Like, who would you say is realistically backing? Is there any of them names that I just mentioned? Out of Tyler Adams, the Ruben Neves, João Gomez, Felix and Mecca, and what was the other one that I said now? Sorry, I forgot the last name there on that list. It was Wilfred Ndidi, the one that probably is more realistic out of everyone. I mean, would you take Wilfred Ndidi, everyone, by the way? Because that's the sort of deal that we're probably looking at right now. Wilfred Ndidi on loan in the last few days of the transfer window is where Manchester United are going. So, would you take it? I mean, again, is he better than anyone we've got? I don't think so. But it's another body. I hate saying that because that's really annoyed me for years. United just having bodies in the squad to fill squad gaps when they're not good enough. And this is where I'm stuck. Bringing someone in is great. Bringing someone in who is not good enough is just a waste of time. And I'm not just saying this because, like, you could easily say, well, he's just a reserve player, Adam. We need to get someone in for that. But I'm talking about training. I'm talking about the intensity. I'm talking about the mood of camp. If you see someone else coming in who's better and could really compete, your game goes up. As a player, you start playing harder and doing more. If you've got someone coming into the club who's clearly not good enough and has never played at this level before as a stopgap, what are you thinking as a current player? Where are you at with that? Like, how do you approach that? Like, there'll be an understanding of this is necessary, surely, but this is Man United, and if you've got Wilfred Ndidi walking through the door, no disrespect at all, it's going to be looked at by some of them players going, what? This guy's going to come and compete with me? And honestly, I just feel like the better player raises games. The player that's coming in to be a stopgap, I just don't think has the same effect. Look, I'm not trying to play down the qualities of what Wilfred Ndidi has done before with Leicester and obviously the achievements that he's accomplished there and the trophies that he's won, but still, I have to be completely brutally honest and say I'd rather him not be here. And United will go with what we've got. As painful as that is, and the injuries not being a million miles away, and they can happen at any point, as we've seen at weekend, I still just don't. Another Manuel Ugarte, is it not? Am I wrong here? Am I completely out of it here with this one? Talk to me in the chat. Tell me. Because I just don't think it's the right way to go. Gel says, oh, Adam has noticed that we are not using many subs. I hope it's not a pattern and that we will rotate more going forward. We need to use the whole team. I actually feel like with Michael Carrick, not using many subs isn't so much a problem. Getting through these two big games, you need your players. Obviously, you need your best players on the pitch to win the game. I think he's had the fact that he's got another full week in recovery in mind. And he's just asked them to go hell for leather and kept the quality on the pitch. I think you might start seeing a little bit more rotation now on it. But yeah, always noticing the substitutes, and we're always picking up on this because this is something that we always seen with Ruben Amorim. And the amount of times that he put us under pressure with his substitutes, it is mad. It is mad. Peter says, sell Xerxes and Agate and get Stella and Baleba now. Get Champions League spots and come back for Anderson and Wharton in the summer after Bruno and Casemiro leave. Pete, you're playing one hell of a game of FIFA there, Pete, aren't you, buddy? That, yeah, that's never going to happen, by the way. I think even Pete knows that. Yeah, great comment, by the way. And in the perfect world, Pete's comment comes right up there to the top, doesn't it? But there is nobody who will ever sell one of their better players in January, I don't think. January sales are players that need to go. The luxury that Manchester City had in being able to offer the wages that they did, the likes of Semenyo and to Mark Guehi, them January transfer signings are so rare. Only City could manage to scrape them sorts of transfers out. Honestly, it's like they were just teed up for them again to spend more money and get the right players in, because both of them players, everybody was going to be after in the summer. And City got them in January before anyone else even came to the table. Well, apart from the others that were in for Semenyo, but honestly, they're rare. Everything else is usually players that don't want to be at a club or the club don't want them, and something's gone wrong, and it's never the right player. It never is. Unless you've got that gem, a Bruno, like we did in January. Oh, do you know what? Even the likes of Patrick Dorgu, but Patrick Dorgu last season needed time to adjust. Aiden Heaven was a good signing, but we didn't see this until the second season, the season after. That's when it all kicked in. So, yeah, João Gomez was the one for me. He was. In terms of Xerxes, by the way, we did talk about Xerxes. Juventus are hovering around. He's the only real senior player that is likely to leave. I don't think he will now because of Dorgu. Obviously, he's playing in that sort of wide 10 role up there. I don't think Xerxes can play there as such, but still, if you put someone else out there, Xerxes needs to then be on the bench next in line, like we described earlier on in the video. So I don't think Xerxes is going anywhere now. Not a chance there now that Dorgu is out anyway. I think that's shut that down. I would be shocked if that happens from here. What's this? Never ignored. Adam doesn't rate a Kobe, but Carrick does. Does Adam have concerns about Carrick's judgment? Why have you made up a complete bollocks comment? Is how I would answer that one. You've clearly not been listening for a while, mate. But yeah, cheers for your comment again, buddy. I'd stay tuned to a few more shows, mate, to see what I actually say. Again, about Kobe Mainoo. We've been talking about it for 2 days straight. Time to catch up, mate. Sorry on that one. Sell Xerxes, use that money to buy Gomez at a simple swap deal effectively. It doesn't work like that, though, Mark. I see where you're going with it. But again, it just feels like a FIFA move. It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. No one's going to pay money. The report from Xerxes, by the way, is United now are reluctant to sell unless they get a substantial bid. Who is going to come in and pay big money for Xerxes now in the last few days? I'm all for the loan and sending him out to gather money and build his price tag up. I honestly don't think anyone is going to come in for him now. I don't think Man United can afford to sell him. So, again, January, problem. No one's got big money. The fact that Douglas Luiz is going back to Villa. I mean, going to Forest and out of Forest. There was rumours about him going to Chelsea, and now he's going back to Villa. Honestly, it's all over the place. It shouts out pure desperation. It does, doesn't it? That Tammy Abrahams and Douglas Luiz going to Aston Villa. Like, Premier League proven players, don't get me wrong, but players that you wouldn't really go, I'm worried. I'm worried if I'm challenging alongside the likes of Aston Villa in that title race. I'm not worried about them two players going to Aston Villa. Super chat from Sahul says, what's the chance that Marcus plays for us next season? There's a story on that. Andy Mitten has actually been talking about Marcus Rashford. All roads to Old Trafford closed. Marcus Rashford is not and never ever will be playing for Manchester United again. That's been reported by quite a few. Andy Mitten has said that he wants Barcelona. Barcelona know he wants to stay there. They're going to negotiate a new deal. They want to negotiate a new deal. And this is coming from Andy Mitten, who lives in Barcelona, by the way. So he would have good contacts over there. And he has said that Barcelona are going to negotiate, but Manchester United are not going to release Marcus Rashford for anything under the agreed release clause in his loan contract. Again, standoff in the offing come the summer around Marcus Rashford between United and Barcelona. That is coming, people, so prepare yourselves for that one. But yeah, just to answer that question, actually, I did have it in my notes on Marcus Rashford. It is a story that is and could materialise as well. Now, Manchester United have got a couple of new targets, a couple of new faces. These might be summer targets, and we're not going to see them in January. But United are looking at Yohan Manzambi. Or is it? Yeah, Manzambi, I think you say his name. He's a cheaper option to Adam Wharton, is the report. And another player, the 18-year-old Kadir Mate, I think that's how you say it. He's an 18-year-old striker as well, who Manchester United are also looking at. There is nothing really significant in these stories. You'll see them online. You'll see them being reported by different outlets. But there is no chance that Manchester United are going to bring them in ahead of their main targets, first and foremost. These are other names that are on a list that United have been looking at just as another option going forward. It isn't going to happen, I don't think, anyway, unless things go really wrong in the transfer market. So you're talking here about the B and C listers on Manchester United's list. Not to play them players down or say that they're not good. Obviously, they have got something about them for the age that they are and where they're playing, but Manchester United are not looking to go out their way. These are players that are just in and amongst the names that have been floating around Manchester United's recruitment team. And that's about it. That is about it on that one. By the way, Romano again came out earlier on to confirm the exit of Rasmus Højlund. He's done this before, but he said it again. It is all done. 44 million euros in Manchester United's bank account come the summer. I think this has come from the likes of Antonio Conte ahead of the Chelsea game this week in the Champions League, talking about younger players and obviously coaches. He said this before. Coaches always try and blame younger players. Instead of working with them, actually blame them and sell them just to move on to the next thing because they're lazy. And this has brought up, obviously, a lot of conversation around Rasmus Højlund, but the deal's done. It's as simple as that. Rasmus is no more at Manchester United. He is going to be bought in full, permanent deal already set up, and that is finalised come July. Romano confirming that earlier on as well. Please keep your live comments coming in on all of these topics as well. Get your conversations going, everybody. Another player that was bought alongside Rasmus Højlund in that infamous summer. Oh, my God, that was painful. The Mason Mount, André Onana and Rasmus Højlund summer. Well, Mason Mount's all right at the moment, but André Onana still hasn't given up on his Man United career. But there is talks, and Chris Wheeler was reporting this earlier on, of him moving back to Inter Milan to replace Sommer, who is their goalkeeper at the moment, the veteran goalkeeper at Inter Milan. So there is talks going on with Onana's representatives. Obviously, he's over at Trabzonspor at the moment in Turkey, but they will be looking for a replacement for Sommer, and André Onana is back on their list again. He might be returning. It's happening again, isn't it? It's happening again. Player comes from Italy, player goes back to Italy. Oh my God. I think we're going to get the Xerxes effect as well. So we're going to have André Onana, we're going to have Rasmus Højlund, and we're going to get Joshua Xerxes all coming from Italy and going back to Italy where it's easier for them to play. I think that's been proven, obviously, with Rasmus Højlund this season at Napoli. No disrespect, and he's having a good season, so well done to Rasmus. But André Onana going back to Inter Milan, music to my ears. He's got no chance of returning to United with what's in front of him now. And I think everyone can feel safe that circus is not coming back to town, which it was. It was. Can you imagine if, let's just say, for instance, Senna Lammers was in goal against Grimsby earlier in the season. We managed to get that deal done properly and earlier, and it wasn't Onana in goal. Oh, God. We might still be fighting for another competition this season. Anyway, that has been talked about. But alongside that as well, there is a part where Manchester United might actually have to buy out some of André Onana's contracts to get him out of the football club. Honestly, again, another one of them deals that Manchester United did that they can't get themselves out of. André Onana will have 1 year left on his deal after this season. He's only got a 4-year contract. So André Onana's only got a year left. United are doing everything in their power to try and just get him out of the football club. It tells you a lot. It does. I still remember talking to you about that story from a few weeks ago where André Onana said if there's a new manager coming in who likes to play out from the back at Manchester United, Onana actually feels like he's got a good chance of getting back in the Man United side. I know. Delusional talk from André Onana and his representatives. Anyway, that's the scenario with him. Obviously, now we're getting into the back end of this window. I'm going to start talking about the summer transfers again. And that's another one that's going to be all sorted this summer. So looking likely that you're going to get Onana, Sancho, Malacia, Rasmus Højlund, Marcus Rashford, who are currently on United's books officially, all off the books by the time the summer comes. All talk on them is positive about them leaving Manchester United come the summer. Now, Nate Salt did actually say it was because Diego Leon and Tiro Malacia are seen as not adequate enough replacements for, obviously, Patrick Dorgu being injured, that United might dip into the market for that wide player. I forgot to add that earlier on. Sorry, everyone. But yeah, that's the state of play regarding Manchester United's thoughts on wide replacements. And that's because, obviously, they don't rate Malacia or Diego Leon. Shame, really. We had hope for Diego Leon, but he's just not good enough. And maybe a bit more, I'd say, development within the academy might help him. Again, it's starting to get to that point where they come 19 and 20 and they're not getting in the first team, and you're going, we're going out buying 19 and 20-year-olds to put in the first team. So why aren't these players making it? Was it a bad decision? It doesn't always work out. Look at the scenarios abroad, by the way, for younger players that are brought in, like Real Madrid in particular. Obviously, you've got Hendrick. He's now on loan at Lyon. Can't get in the team. Mastantuono, he's having issues getting into that Madrid side. Obviously, it's all changed now with no Xabi Alonso there. But just an example that it doesn't always work when you bring younger players in. Anyway, there are your updates on them. A couple more quickly before we get back into the chat is that Ethan Wheatley and Toby Collier are both being sent out on loan. Both have returned from their respected loan deals for the first half of the season. Confirmed now by United, and reports coming from the club that both of these players now will be sent back out on loan for the remainder of the season. So no room for them in the squad either. You might have been maybe tempted to see what Wheatley could do. Clearly isn't good enough for Manchester United, and I think, again, will be part of the package of academy players in that under-21 squad that are sold come the summer, and we will see a big exodus from Manchester United come the summer from that academy, I feel, anyway. Time to clear the decks, I think, for United and bring in the next, which is probably the majority of that under-18s team anyway. So, yeah, that's where we're at with the academy players and the loans also on that as well. Bit more to get through yet, but let's get back into the comments and your thoughts, everybody. Let me know what you're thinking. Get into me and give me your thoughts, please. You agree with some of my points there as well, and everything else that's going on at United. By the way, over 200 likes. on the evening show. Absolutely love that. Thank you, everybody. Keep them likes coming in if you're enjoying the content. Don't forget to check out all the other videos on the channel, and do subscribe over to Adam FC as well. More and more content coming out there. Thank you everyone who watched my reaction video to Arsenal Fantai as well over on Adam FC. Had loads of views on that one, so go and watch it if you haven't already. Still baffles me now. It does. Rodders says, no Onana or Trashford, please, he says. Thanks for that super chat, Rodders, mate. No, they're not coming back. Definitely not. Thomas says, young players under Ferguson got bought in and then nursed them into the team. That's what needs to happen more. Promising players at 16 and 17 still might not make it, still require a lot of hard work. Yeah, it's when they start getting to 19 and 20, you start thinking, it's not going to happen, this, is it? Bab says, do you think with forthcoming and the Sheikh at investment talks that there might be some hope of the Glazers clearing off? Still no real sign of it. And maybe this will escalate a little bit more into the summer, Babs, about United. But as it is, if United can start earning more money and being successful on the pitch, I don't think this current ownership would want to go anywhere. They would just see the pound sign start to total up in their heads, and they would continue doing more of the same, I feel. And that's the worry, which does take us on to the protests as well. Quickly reading this information out for you, everybody, so you've got it and you are ready for the weekend. If you are wanting to take part in the protest at Manchester United, I'll just go through the message from the 58 group again. Another update is out. Recent results are down to Michael Carrick and the players, and they have come in spite of our inept ownership, not because of it. This club continues to fumble from one calamity to the next. Fans should not be fooled by two good results. We have been here too many times before. Our protests have never been about performances on the pitch, not now and not once in the last 21 years. We are judging a dysfunctional ownership model that has repeatedly failed Manchester United. Jim Ratcliffe is a successful and wealthy businessman, but in a football sense, for many, he comes across as a clueless clown, making one poor decision after another with no cohesive plan. That's the message they're reading out, and the reasoning behind the protests for them not being overwhelmed by good results and just turning a blind eye to bigger issues off the pitch. It's about off the pitch, nothing to do with anything that's happening on it. The 58, so this is your update on what is actually happening. The 58 say thousands of Manchester United fans are being urged to turn up in huge numbers at the protest march before the Fulham game at Old Trafford on Sunday. They say organisers are promising a few surprises to symbolise how the club is being badly mismanaged. No idea what they are, by the way. Fans will gather at two meeting points. So check this out. This is where you need to be. So the two meeting points at the top of Sir Matt Busby Way / Chester Road. So just as Chester Road hits Sir Matt Busby Way off Warwick Road. And also outside Hotel Football at 1 p.m. ahead of the game, which kicks off at 2 p.m. So both sides of the East Stand is where the gatherings are going to be. If you are driving into Old Trafford, don't go anywhere near the stadium unless you're getting there early and getting packed up way before this starts to happen. Like we said there, the meetings are taking place at St Matt Busby Way and also outside Hotel Football, 1 o'clock. So an hour before kickoff to march into Old Trafford. So they're your meeting points. That's the times so far. If anything changes or there's any extra information that comes out, I'll keep you updated as we go towards the game this weekend. Obviously, it's only Tuesday now, and the 58 are trying to get ahead of everything and be as organised as possible. So make your plans, get your preparations in place so you can get there in plenty of time and be there and be part of it, everybody. So make sure that you keep a track of all of the updates. We'll let you know as we get closer to the actual event itself. Let's get some more comments in, everybody. Let me talk to a few of you before we finish up. And obviously, make sure that you do put in the actual chat what you're talking about as well. But we have had a poll running for quite a bit on the show now, so let's just check how that's doing. Should United bring in a player in the next few days? 88% of you have said yes, bring in a player. I can't add the names of the players in there at the moment because the poll is already up. But I would love for people to actually give me some names and talk to me about that. You'll see also the link in the description is for our replica kits of all Manchester United gear and all football gear as well. Our matchday sponsors, OK Jerseys there. Put in promo code Adam and get another 8% off your order on checkout as well. Them shirts can be as little as £15, everybody. With an extra 8% off that, you are absolutely smashing it there. Anything you want. I will get some more new gear as well, just to sport that, so you can all see what you're going to be, or what you're going to be looking at anyway, to give you an idea. So, yeah, that's, again, is thank you to OK Jerseys for our matchday sponsorship. Let's get some thoughts in from the chat then, shall we? Ant says, talking back to Debs on this one, Rashford had one good season and our ownership gave him a massively overinflated contract that was worthy of a superstar. They created a monster and unfortunately he believed his own hype. A lot of people would agree with that comment there actually and go well along with it. Everybody on the planet is a United fan if they were honest. That's why their blood runs red. You try telling that to City fans, mate. Sterling is still at Chelsea, yes. That's a nightmare scenario. I'm hoping that that comes and backfires on Chelsea eventually, like it is doing now, with players that just can't get in the team on stupid amounts of money. How do they get away with it? It's crazy. What's my thoughts on Sesko? I'm still undecided, says Patsy. My thoughts on Sesko are, yeah, he hasn't done anything to really say that he's a world beater. But I'm seeing promising enough signs from Sesko and his attitude and the way that he played before Carrick came in as well with his 3 goals in 2 games. We might see more of him now with Dorgu out the side. Might not. Depends on Carrick. But I think he'll still play a part. He's always going to be judged on goals, I think, Benjamin Sesko. And that's always going to be the same for most strikers, isn't it? But he does do a lot more. He links up the play a lot better. But at the moment, he's still not going to be good enough. We need goals. In a season where we're actually having a good goal-scoring season as well, I feel like that is massive as well for Benjamin Sesko. To be in and amongst the goals, which he isn't fully. What's he got? 5, I think it is. Yeah, 5 goals he's got, hasn't he? Yes, that's right. Yeah, 5 goals. I think he needs to have a few more. He needs to get at least double figures this season for us to have hope of him staying next season, because it was, again, it was the hierarchy that brought Sesko in, but you've got another coach coming in who might not play him. It's going to be interesting. And again, it's a shame that we haven't got more games to play and we're not in more competitions, because we would see more of him. And these players will be given a better chance to actually fight for a Premier League starting position. Whereas now they're not, because we've only got Premier League games and every game is a cup final for us right now, because it goes towards us actually qualifying for the Champions League. So, yeah, that's where we're at. Tim says, isn't Sterling on loan at Arsenal? No, he's stuck in Chelsea's training ground with no club on nearly 300 grand a week wages. It's the mental scenario. Sesko is quality for me. He needs a supply line. He has fantastic movement. He's hardly played. That has to be taken into account. It is taken into account. He's right there on that one, Gavin. He hasn't played enough games consistently, I don't think, anyway. Don't forget, next Friday's Munich service at the ground. No, don't forget that. The Munich Memorial will be next week as well. Sesko ain't good enough for me. Guy wasn't a goal scorer in Germany and hasn't looked like it here either. Striker has to score goals, says Carl. What else we got in here? Osimhen is the striker we need. Ooh, that was the summer, wasn't it? All of them talks about Osimhen. God, Gyökeres, Osimhen. We've got all that to come this summer as well, everybody. We'll be right on top of all the transfers as we usually are here on Forever United TV, making sure that you're up to date with everything. So again, in build up to that through the rest of this season, as well as the match days and all of the other stuff and content that we do, make sure that you are ready to go for that summer transfer window. We're going to be building up with all of the necessary rumours and speculation before that window opens as well. I do think that United will actually be very busy once the window opens. See there as well, mentioning Ndai from Everton. That's another name that's been linked with Manchester United as a wide option going forward. So yeah, you never know. You never know. Anything is possible in the transfer window coming up, and United are going to be one of the busiest clubs. I think that's a guarantee. It's the only guarantee. It better be that be. Please pop a like on the video, everybody. That should take us over 2.5. Thank you so much for being part of the show this evening. I'm off to training now, and I will see you all in the morning. Have a fantastic evening, everybody. Thank you, Super Chats. Thank you, mods, again. Have a good one, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you